The Dark Horde was sending its forces to claim the Blasted Crags in an effort to rally for yet another invasion southward. With their respective militaries already overexhausted waging a war across 2 continents, the Orc Etrig and Colonel Tropeman decided to coordinate a more old-fashioned method of dealing with this incursion. First on the list, assassinate local mid-ranking personnel via infiltration and outright destroying local warlocks. Next step, identify and subvert the 3 major leaders in the area. The Dragon Lord was first up, with the champion seeking aid from a red dragon, whom they disguised to look like a black dragon, more on that in a minute, while simultaneously killing many of his whelplings. Second up was the general, whom they poisoned along with his troops, as well as assassinating all 3 of his primary lieutenants. Third up was the High Warlock. Here they got clever, delivering Flamekin instead of imps to the waiting warlocks and replacing his orb of domination with a fake. All of this blew up magnificently in the Dark Horde's face. Having lost their soldiers and sergeants and imps and dragons and lieutenants, the Warlock went forward with their plans anyways to summon an Annihilant. The plan, of course, was to send this thing southward into the Lakeshire region, but with no control orb. Now, even an Annihilant has its limits, but this meant the assembled Dark Horde army had to fight the Pit Lord until they slew him, severely weakening their forces, which is right about when the champion arrives riding their Black Dragon, disguised as reinforcements. Charging towards the Black Dragon and not expecting the attack, the Dark Horde forces were completely routed and all their leaders were killed. This effectively removed the Dark Horde from significance. While they still had the stronghold of Blackrock Spire, they no longer controlled territory or troops sufficient to affect the world stage. By this point, you're probably wondering why we haven't discussed the Dark Horde yet, and the truth is there isn't much to discuss. Formed of remnants of the demonic horde who refused Thrall's way, the orcs, ogres, and trolls had united under Rend and Maim to build their own horde with blackjack and hookers. And they were so lacking in resources and manpower that they only operated thanks to the Black Dragonflight patronage. The Dark Horde had actually been around since the Third War, but only recently had made any substantial moves. This, of course, proved a mistake. Having revealed themselves as a threat, there was only one response that could be offered. The champions charged into Blackrock Spire. As previously mentioned, Blackrock Spire was once part of the Dark Iron City stronghold, claimed back when Nefarian still lived. Filled to the brim with all sorts, High Lord Omok, who commands the local Spire Stone, Shadowhunter Voshkajin, the psychotic Hex Mistress, Warmaster Voon, who actually joined his trolls to the Dark Horde purely for the challenge of it, the Mother Smolderweb, a centuries-old arachnid, we're gonna leave that one alone, Urok Doomhowl, the actual ruler of the Spirestone, who commands through his proxy puppet of Omok, Quartermaster Zigriz, who enjoys hunting down helpless people and killing them for sport, Halcyon, an oversized, ferocious warg, there's a lot of people in here, and at the end, the Black Dragon spawn Wormthalak. Wormthalak actually despises his post, disliking the Dark Horde races and only dealing with his assignment reluctantly. This naturally leads to him being a truly terrible leader, as he will gleefully sacrifice his servants simply to amuse himself. It is very likely he is the reason behind the very ill-thought-out, multiple recent invasions of Redridge. So, good job, Wormthalak. With the Spire cleared, the Dark Horde's power base was utterly smashed, though not all of its people died with it. War Chief Garrosh allowed many of the former Dark Horde to join Hellscream's forces in exchange for clemency. Most notable among these is Malkarok, whom Garrosh assigned as chief of his newly rebuilt Korkron forces. And under Malkarok's reign, these new Hellscream Korkron would become something more of a secret police than an elite fighting force, brutalizing law-abiding citizens for the crimes of not fully supporting their war chief. While they were braving the Spire, the other group of champions who had just finished going through the depths made an odd discovery, but we'll come back to them later.